broke zebra, and I'm here to do my debt confessional. Oh, okay. So the way this is going to go, I'm going to talk to you about my debt snowball versus my debt avalanche, and exactly how much debt do I have? Why do I consider myself a broke zebra? Alright, so let's get into it. So what I did with my debt snowball, I just ordered all of my debts from smallest to largest. This is kind of following the traditional debt snowball method that I learned about from Dave Ramsey. So I had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 debts to pay off, okay? And a couple small ones, couple large ones. So the smallest one was $100, had $100 and $500 to 2 different hospital bills, another $2,000 bill to a specialty pharmacy for treatment for my condition, which is common variable immunodeficiency, and then credit card debt. Oh gosh, you guys, so much stupid in this credit card debt. I have $2,500 on the smallest one, $3,000 on the next one. Then actually my car is the next debt after my third, or before my third credit card. So I owed $5,000 on my car and then $8,000 on my Capital One credit card. Ugh, you guys. And then to top that all off, $50,000 on a student loan. So that's a lot of debt. So I started this journey last July. What happened was I got denied by my insurance for my infusions, which are quite expensive, and all treatments. And I saw, oh crap, I'm not going to be able to pay all this off with just my stipend for grad school. So, and at the same time, my boyfriend at the time found out that he was about to lose his job as a postdoc. So we were working at the same university. So, and I saw that I was going to have to support us both. So I got a second job. I work at AC Moore now as my part-time job, which has been really nice. They treat us really well. So if I can't really say anything bad about the company. If you like to buy crafts, it would be good to buy them from them because they actually treat their employees really well from my experience. So yeah, that's where it started. Unfortunately, a couple weeks after I started my job at AC Moore, my boyfriend got a really good job offer in town, and so now he's making a lot more money, and things kind of worked out okay financially. But really what happened going into that position where I saw if he did lose his job and didn't find something else soon, and I was going to have to support us, and that I wasn't able to do that, that really scared me a lot. So I decided I really need to get my finances on track. At the time, I had heard about this crazy guy, Dave Ramsey, and I heard about him in a really weird way. I was listening to the podcast Death, Sex, and Money, and they were talking about student loans, and this woman said that she didn't necessarily agree with everything that he said, but you know, his calls and show were really good motivation for her to try to pay off her student loans. And I've always been raised as one of those people that thought, you don't pay off your student loans, you just have student loans forever. And for me, with $50,000 in student loans, I thought, okay, well, you know, I'll have those hanging around for 10 years, and once I do 10 years of repayment, then they'll be forgiven, and I won't have to worry about it. But hearing that made me see that it really was possible to pay off this debt. And, you know, it is my debt. I took that money out, so I should have to pay it back. So that's kind of what happened with that. So short story long, that's my debt confession. So I just want to show you guys kind of what my debt tracking looks like, how I'm keeping track of everything. And I will tell you, I've paid off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these debts already. So I did things kind of out of order. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second, why I did that. But here we go. I'll just show you what my debt tracking spreadsheet looks like. Okay, so this is my debt tracking spreadsheet. You can see on the left side here, I have all of my different debts lined up, and I have them organized by interest rate. So rather than like a traditional debt snowball, what you would do is you would organize them from the least amount of principal to the most amount of principal. So if that were the case, I would have like my hospital bills first because they were the lowest, and then I would have my student loans last because they were the highest. But in between those, I would have some of my student loans which weren't that were in deferment. So basically, like right now, they have a 0% interest on that money. Obviously, once they go back into repayment, there won't be 0% interest. Or, you know, like my car, which I owed $5,000 on, but, you know, I had this Capital One credit card where I owed $8,000, but I had a 20%, over 20%, 20.8% interest rate on that. And so I decided to modify my debt snowball a little bit into more of the avalanche method. So you can see I organized it by interest rate here, lowest to highest. The only difference is that I have all of my student loans at the end because they are technically all they're all in deferment right now. The ones that were from my undergraduate, which are these last 4, those are the ones that are like a 0% interest right now because they're subsidized loans. The ones above that, whew, those aren't subsidized loans, guys. If you get out student loans for grad school, not subsidized. So you're accruing interest while you're in school. Just kind of a killer. I've accrued $4,000 in interest on these loans just since taking them out. It's a lot. Whatever you can do legally, obviously, to not have to pay for grad school with student loans, or definitely, and this is a mistake that I made, do not take out student loans for expenses in graduate school. I got in the trap of justifying this to myself with my medical condition. I said, well, all these hospitalizations and all of this really advanced treatment that I have to do costs a lot of money, and it does. But honestly, my out-of-pocket maximum for my insurance every year is $5,500. And my deductible on top of that was about $400 to $500 every year. So, okay, for an extra $6,000, if I had cut that out of my budget, not gone out to eat, lived in a cheaper place, not bought a bunch of stuff, I could have probably squeezed that out of my budget and not needed to take these student loans out, which is, as you can see, especially for a couple of these, took out more than $6,000 because I was like, oh, I'll just take out a little more. I won't spend it, and I'll just put it in my savings account in case there's an emergency, like if my car breaks down or I can't work and I have to pay my car payments or my rent. No. That stuff didn't go to an emergency. If you want to keep yourself safe from an emergency, just build up an emergency fund. Debt's not the way to do it. But speaking from experience, you know, hindsight's always 20/20. Okay, and then so this next, I have it set up so the debts, the minimum payments, the interest rate, and then the starting balance. So I started this a little bit after I did this debt snowball, which you can't really see. There you go. This debt snowball form that I filled out, and I actually keep this on my refrigerator so I can cross things out when I finally pay off a debt. So these are these numbers are a little bit different than what's on here, but you can still see kind of what I did. The maximum months, so you can see at this point I had already paid off these 2 hospital bills, but I hadn't paid off this BioScript bill, which was the specialty pharmacy one. So maximum months is basically, I calculated out on the rest of this spreadsheet how many months would it take me to pay off this debt if I only paid the minimum payment. So I calculated how much interest am I going to accrue every month, only paying the minimum payments. Of course, with credit cards, assuming that you're not putting any more money on, because if you want to pay off your debt, don't put more debt on your credit cards if you're trying to pay them off. So that's what this maximum months is. And then this months column is the amount of months that I actually used paying them off, like actually spent paying them off. And actually this one is not correct yet because I just paid that credit card off yesterday. I'm pretty excited about that, you guys. So I now officially have all of my credit cards paid off, and it feels really good. So instead of taking me 54 months for this Capital One card, it actually took me 3 months, and the same with this American Express card. Now, I will tell you, a lot of that was because of a settlement that I reached, and I put $10,000 when I got the check. I put all of it towards debt. I will tell you, before Dave Ramsey, I never would have done that. I would have spent probably a good chunk of that money, or put it in a savings account, thinking I'll just save this for an emergency, so I don't have to get into more debt. But I can guarantee you guys, I would have spent that money. An emergency would have come up, like, I don't know, Christmas presents or something that's not a real life and death emergency, but you can justify it to yourself if you try hard enough. So, chunked all that money right on that debt, and I've just been slowly going through this. Now, I haven't started making any repayment on my student loans, which is why they all show 159 months. That's a little confusing. Basically, the way I did it is I counted out on the spreadsheet how much I've each cell is a different month, so I can show you that also. So, and then I show the maximum interest and the actual interest that I paid. So I saved a lot. Look how much money I saved on interest on just my Capital One card. If I had been paying minimum payments, I would be paying almost $4,000 more on that debt. So it really pays to just get this debt knocked out as fast as possible. So right now I still have my car payment left. I have a little bit less than $4,000 left on that, and then my student loans. So I have $54,000 in debt. But I feel like I can do it now that I have a plan. And I plan on showing you guys kind of what I'm going to do this year. I'm planning on sticking to a really tight budget. I'm going to do a no spend for the entire year of 2018. It might seem a little extreme, and if you're not familiar with a no spend, I'm going to do another video to show you guys what that is and kind of go over the rules of a no spend. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. If anyone's interested, I can show you this spreadsheet. Basically what I did every month. Okay, so I started this spreadsheet in October. So every month what I did, I wrote down the initial balance on each one of these debts. Or no, I wrote down the payment on the left side. I just made a really big payment in October. That's why I got confused. So I wrote down the payment, the interest rate. So the way you figure this out is you take your annual percentage interest rate and then divide it by 12. So that's why this isn't 20.8%. And then multiply that by the balance, and that's how you find your interest. That's this monthly interest here. And then the remaining amount is the starting balance minus the minimum, minus the payment that you made. So you could see for this one, for my Capital One card, I had it active for 1 month in October, and I paid $123.41 in interest. So if we go down to November, then that new balance becomes $123.41 with the $214 in interest. So that's what's accrued on the $123.41, and that's where how I got this $125.55 payment. And then this comes down to the last month, and for some reason this if-then statement didn't work out correctly. That it should be zero. So I really only carried that Capital One card for 2 months under this debt-free journey. I've had that Capital One card since college, you guys, and I don't think I've ever fully paid off the balance on that one. Ugh, stupid. But yeah, so that's how I organized my debt snowball. So there are a couple of different ideas of why you would do an avalanche versus a snowball. Some ideas why that doesn't really matter. And then for me, I really did kind of more like a modified avalanche, because you can see some of these, like my car interest rate is lower than some of my highest, actually all of my student loan interest rates. But I make monthly payments on my car every month now, so that's coming out of my budget right now. And on my student loans, I don't have to pay it back yet. So while money was really tight, I only paid what I actually had to. So now that money's not as tight, and I have my credit cards paid off, so no more monthly payments on that, and I'm working on my car, I'll probably start chunking away at those student loans, especially the highest interest one. So, all right. So thanks for watching. Let me know if there's anything you're interested in learning about my debt-free journey, why I chose this method, and anything that you want to know about what it's like being chronically ill and also trying to get out of debt, because that definitely adds a new component to your finances. It adds a lot of uncertainty to your life, but it also means you have to be really organized with your planning and with your finances. So in some ways it is a blessing, because it's something that you can carry through other parts of this debt-free zebra journey.